Okay, welcome back to anyone who was watching the previous videos, and if you're new, well, here I am. So, I'm gonna do a ban list discussion. I mean, I'm sure I know all the big YouTubers, Yugi-tubers have already done these, but I just wanted to talk a little bit in depth about it and what I think about the ban list. So, we'll start off with the first change, which is Magispector Kirin banned. It went from 1 to 0, and to be honest, I'm kind of happy that it's gone. I felt like it was, it kind of deserves to be banned. Because, Magispectors themselves aren't too affected by it, because they didn't really, that wasn't their point, was to do that. It was, their point was not to get to Kirin. Whereas, like, you know, I play Metal Foes, and so, I did use the Magispector engine in it and get to Kirin. So it does hurt, but now that Bow Baboon is out, I don't know. Metal Foes were hit by this a little bit, but it's not really that problematic for any deck, and so I'm glad to see it gone. Next change, Tyrant Neptune banned from 3 to 0. Now this may seem strange, but the reason for that is because of an instant fusion play with Lyrical Lucinia, Independent Nightingale, because you can fusion summon this with instant fusion, and then tribute it for the Tyrant Neptune, and the Tyrant Neptune gains its effects. Which this card, basically Tyrant Neptune would be a 5,000 attacker that during each of your turns it can inflict 5,000 damage to your opponent and is unaffected by card effects. So they're just kind of pre-banning it, I suppose, before the Lyrical Lucinia even comes out, because they don't want to have that to deal with at that time. Kind of upset because I just acquired one of these to test it out in something, but it's okay. I see why they did it. So next change, Vanity's Emptiness banned from 1 to 0. I actually am one of those people who likes Vanity's Emptiness, so I'm kind of sad to see it go, but I understand why. Though it does kind of make other traps a little bit more relevant, like Dimension Barrier, because that's another big stopper, special summon stopper. So, I understand why it went, and I do feel that it needed to go, but I'm still kind of upset to see it leave. And with the loss of one floodgate, we might turn to the next floodgate, or other floodgates, one of which being Imperial Order that just came off the list from 0 to 1. With its errata, of course. I feel like it's still a very, very relevant card, and I feel like it's going to be good. So, maybe people will turn to stuff like that instead. So yeah, Imperial Order 0 to 1. Next change, Maxi from 2 to 1. To be honest, I just am upset by this. I don't like this at all. Because people are not going to play Maxi at 1, and I feel like Maxi was a necessary evil, I suppose. I feel like it was a good thing to have. We needed it. Just as a kind of counter to all these decks that just flood the board. So I don't know, maybe with it at 1, Effect Veiler might come more into relevance. I don't know, we'll see. Next change, Rescue Cat just came off the list from 0 to 1. With its errata, it makes it okay. And I feel like a big part of the reason this happened is because of the new Urgent Emergency Assistance Rescue that helps with Rescue Rabbit and Rescue Cat. So, though I feel like we need more than one of them to make this card really good. So, I don't know, but I like the fact that it's coming off. Next change, Brain Control, 0 to 1. Brain Control has just been ruined. It's been basically ruined. I don't think it's very good, because most decks they'll end their turn with all special summon monsters, like extra deck monsters, or monsters that can't be normal summoned, so it's kind of wasted. I don't know. It could be at 3 and it probably wouldn't make a difference. Next change, Future Fusion 0 to 1. Another one that this is another one that I feel like is still really good. I feel like if you activate it, and as long as it isn't destroyed for 1 turn, it can be a definite very good card. So I like this change. I don't necessarily think the errata made it extreme. It's definitely not nearly as broken as before. But yeah, so I like that. Wisdom Eye Magician from 1 to 2. Pendulum Magicians are just not good right now anyways, so I don't see a problem with this at all. And the big one that everyone was waiting for was Zoo, to see what would happen with it, and the only thing that happened was Rat Pierre to 2. Now, that does hurt their main combo, but it doesn't kill the deck like people thought might happen. Like, they still have 3 Barrage, and they still have all their Xyz, like Trident, but, they might start playing Instant Fusion now just to be able to get to Emerald, but yeah, just 2 Rat Pierre. I feel like that does hurt for sure, but it's still playable and still good. Now, and branching off of that, Paleo. I think Paleo is probably going to be a lot more dominant with this change, because Paleo and Zoo were kind of the top 2 at this point, and with Zoo being hit a small amount, I feel like that gives Paleo the edge that they needed to kind of take the format. I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but I think Paleo just definitely got a little buffed by that. Not the deck as a whole, but just their opposition is a little bit worn out. Okay, so the next change is Interrupted Kaiju Slumber from 3 to 2. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people, like, think that this card should have been limited or even banned. I've never had a problem with this card. I mean, I understand why people see it that way. Like, it's extremely good, yeah, but kaijus aren't a problem at this point. I haven't, at least not that I've seen. I don't know, maybe they are. I wouldn't know, I guess, but I guess I didn't find them too much of a problem. Plus, I mean, and with it going to 2, it didn't really make much of a difference, because they still have 2 of that, 2 Dark Hole, 1 Raigeki, lots of board clearance, so. Next change, Sangan from 0 to 3. I see why. Sangan it's still good, and its errata made it not quite as good, but it's still really good, so. Definitely a buff to Tour Guide as well as Burning Abyss. It really helps. Burning Abyss. I feel like Burning Abyss is going to be pretty good too. So then next change, Bryonak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier from 0 to 1. Still a good card. Not broken anymore, I don't think, but it's still good. It's a good 6, so, yeah. And aside for the changes, now on to the things that I think should have changed, that I want to see. And I'm just going to talk about banned cards in this, not limited, semi-limited, or anything, just banned. So these are cards that I would like to see come back. Chaos Emperor Dragon, I think this is obvious. This is obvious why, because it's got an errata. We're gonna get it again. I just don't know when, and I really feel like it should have been on this list, since it's gonna change. Its effect is different and not as broken. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Obviously Stratos, I'm not really going to go in depth about that. It can come back. Shuret, I feel like could come back to 1. I don't think we should put it above that, but I feel like it could come back to 1, because Necros are struggling. I wouldn't put any of the others back, but just Shuret, because I feel like Shuret is not horrible. The Dragon Rulers, no more than 1. Unless, like, you bring, like, just 3 Blaster and nothing else, or I don't know. But just 1 of each I feel like would be fine. I don't think they would compete with, like, Zoo or Paleo. I feel like they still wouldn't compete with them, so they wouldn't be broken. There's really no reason to keep them at 0, I think. So, yeah. Witch of the Black Forest, same thing with Sangan. It got an errata, so why not? It'll come back eventually. Gateway of the Six. Now, this is one that I wasn't quite sure about because I know how broken it was, but I feel like if it came to 1, it would probably be fine. Because they still have to get to it, you know? So, I mean, 1 I feel like isn't a problem as much. And then Heavy Storm and Harpies, I don't know which I would rather have, but I feel like it would be good to have one of them. don't particularly care which. I feel like Heavy Storm, they have each other advantages and disadvantages, so yep. And then Construct obviously could come back. Shaddols aren't doing anything now, and I don't think they would with Construct. Exciton Knight, I understand why people would argue that it should stay banned, but I would like it back. I feel like it would help. I didn't like it when it was banned, and I still don't like it being banned. And then Wind-Up Carries and Mighty, I think if it was put to 1, if the other wind-ups stayed the same, I don't think this would be a problem, so let me know what you guys think about the ban list changes and what should have been changed, and I guess this was just my opinion, so, and I was letting you know about the ban list, so see you in the next one.